The Littlest Dreadnaught, written by zarikimbo. AI are quite useful in a number of ways, mostly for doing things that are too monotonous, too complex, anything people would rather not do, really. In my case, I decided to honor the memory of my late dog Porthos by modeling one after him, with a little extra. He was a most loyal hound and accompanied me on many adventures. In his new form, we would go on many more. This entry in my spacebook covers our first interaction after he came online. Hello, are you there?
Yes, this is Doug.
Good to see you, buddy.
Hi there, who are you?
I'm your master, and you're my pet. Your name is Porthos.
I have a name, thank you, master. I just met you and I love you.
Ah, I love you too, big guy. Say, how about we play fetch?
Ooh, yeah. Yes, throw the ball, master, throw the ball.
Okay, buddy. Here, you go. Ball! If a 50-kilometer long, 10-kilometer wide, and 15-kilometer tall dreadnought could be said to be cute, it was this one. The ridiculously overarmed and over-armored juggernaut was downright adorable. As soon as the impulse probe shut off, his engines immediately went to maximum burn. He was so deliriously happy to chase the ball that he didn't even notice the asteroid belt he plowed through in his pursuit. Enormous chunks of rock were the space equivalent of bugs on a windscreen, pulverized by the behemoth with 50-meter thick armor plating and cutting a long strip through the rings of a gas giant. I don't think he even noticed that he used the kinetic planet buster cannon to obliterate a moon so that he wouldn't have to slow down. I was glad I had the foresight to pick up Baron Proto System for his shakedown chase. On his way back, he was so excited that he forgot to slow down and body-slammed a small moon into the planet it orbited, gouging a spectacular crater in the molten northern hemisphere and knocking the planet's axis askew by 20 degrees. As an elder god, I'm no stranger to gratuitous destruction, but I didn't want Porthos to be responsible for dooming possible life before it could get going, so I cruised out a little further to the fifth planet. This one was a bit too big for most forms of life, so it was safe enough. He flew circles around my ship as he followed.
Master, I got the ball.
You sure did, buddy. Who's a good dreadnought? I think his way of gasping was when he shut his main engines down. Adorable.
Is it me?
Ooh, that is so cute. He tilted his nose up in front of the observation deck of my ship. That's right, you're a good dreadnought, yes you are. The big guy lost it, wriggling his enormous body with uncontrollable happiness and randomly firing his energy weapons. Best dog ever. Getting his attention again was easy. You want me to throw the ball again?
Yes, throw the ball.
All right then, give it here.
No take, only throw.
I can't throw it if I don't have it, big guy.
No take, only throw.
That rascal, closing the hangar bay blast doors. All right then, let's see if you can fit this one in your hangar bay.
Oh, yes, throw ball, master.
Okay, boy, I'm going to throw it on the count of 3. Too cute. Porthos backed up a little and used his maneuvering thrusters to wiggle his entire body. 1. He backed up even further and wiggled even harder, whining in anticipation. 2. He kept backing up until his engines were digging into the atmosphere of the biggest gas giant and wiggled so hard he started a gigantic swirl. 3.
Ball!
This time he must have gotten a bit of extra thrust from the briefly ignited atmosphere of the giant. I knew giving him Novaplex 7 engine boosters was a good idea. He shot out of the gravity well at top speed, leaving a huge red hurricane and a few billion tons of gravel in his wake. He chased that probe even farther away from the star, instinctively engaging his FTL briefly to close the gap. Unfortunately, for the 7th planet, he had overridden the safeties and bounced the warp bubble off its gravity well, smacking it hard enough to tilt the planet almost 100 degrees. He went careening around and had to slow down in the turn, making up for it by firing every booster, thruster, and retro at his disposal. If any organic had been on that ship, they would have been perfectly fine and enjoying the wild ride. Oh, the joys of perfect inertial neutralizers. Didn't take too long after that for him to snag the probe and squeeze it into his hangar bay. His return was every bit as enthusiastic as the first, so I positioned myself out of the way of any celestial bodies.
Master, I got the ball again.
You did. You're such a good dreadnought. Apparently, he'd done some calibrations of his own, because he appeared to have linked the Seraza particle cannons to the part of the brain that barked. I was doubly glad I had made sure to install NV shields. Otherwise, I would have been atomized with the first few hits. Then he followed that up with a tongue bath attack, made from several Gorgon-class plasma caster streams. Down, boy. You can hurt someone like that. Not everyone has invincible shielding, you know.
Sorry, Master, sorry. I was just so excited with the balls and being a good boy, and I love you so much, Master.
Oh, I can't stay mad at you, you big goof.
Yay! Throw the ball again, Master.
You asked for it. 1. He started wiggling again. Every one of his 3 million point defense turrets locked on the probe, charging up its engines. 2. More wiggling, and every main gun targeting the probe. His entire node crackled with lethal energy. 3. Instead of shouting again, he simply fired off the apocalyptic levels of power in a wild blast, thankfully missing anything important. He must have integrated fully with his systems now, because he used his wormhole generator to jump out past the ball and turn around to catch the probe after it curved from a gravity assist by another gas giant. His hangar bay was getting a little crowded by this point, but he walked back at top speed for another go.
I got the ball, Master. I got the ball.
You sure did, boy. You want me to throw another one?
Yes.
Alrighty then. 1 to 3, go. Hundreds of thousands of probes that had been charging up behind the fourth planet burst out of hiding and rocketed off in all directions. He was momentarily frozen, firing every engine in multiple directions at once as he targeted Matrix, briefly overloaded.
Ball!
Apparently, he decided not to bother thinking about it too much because every ship-killer missile tube that he had opened up and fired their payloads. He barely waited for them to clear his path before blazing off at top speed to hunt down several probes himself, while the missiles homed in on their targets. I was so happy to see my pet Dreadnaught frolic about the system and blow most of the probes to smithereens. He got distracted when a comet crossed his path, but he resumed his chase after stuffing it in his main hangar bay. When he got back a few minutes later, the rest of his hangars were totally crammed.
Oh, Master, this is the most bestest thing ever.
You like it a lot, huh?
Oh, yes. It's my most favoritest thing ever.
You ain't seen nothing yet, big guy. Just wait till we race around the black hole.
I have not raced around the black hole yet, but it's the new most favoritest thing ever.
I knew you'd love it. Let's go, Porthos. We had a blast that day, literally. Porthos ended up burning out some of his engines, but I towed him close to the surface of the star to give him the solar flare belly rubs. I think I'll come back to that system in a few billion years and give it a personal touch for all time's sake. End of story. Story number 2. Oops, they've spotted us. Written by Engletroll.
Sir, there is a ship coming through the light speed ETA 45 seconds. Damn, it's the size of a small moon. Who the hell builds a ship like that?
The subspace observation officer, Lieutenant Sawtooth, looked at the captain, who sighed and leaned over to the console. Relay light information to the Classians. This war is over. The humans have arrived. Several of the ship's officers stopped what they were doing. Outside, the large space battle involving thousands of ships stopped firing. Both sides stopped. Lieutenant Sawtooth was so shocked he stood up from his post and walked over to the large screen showing the waste battlefield of the Classians and the Durian ships just lingering about, almost as if they tried to look as innocent as possible. There was a beep and the Classian admiral popped up on the screen. He looked as ugly as all Classian, a bipedal, yellow-skinned man with several small horns where his eyebrows would be, bright green eyes, and a jaw horn that was almost 4 inches long. His 2 arms had 6 clawed fingers. He was dressed in a green uniform, and he spoke with a worried voice. Do we have time to escape? The Captain Blasson shook his head. ETA 10 seconds. Brack, okay. Hopefully they won't. The rest was cut off short as a new image appeared on the screen, and the giant triangle-shaped ship just appeared out of nowhere. It dwarfed all the ships, and quickly a human face appeared on the screen. My lord, I told you guys, this war was over. The human was a man in his apparent 30s, with short black hair and a deep brown eyes that looked ageless. The uniform was bright white, with a tight collar that could not be comfortable. Men swallowed their need to panic as they looked down to the floor to avoid the stern look from the human. Well, who started it? Captain Blasson looked at the Classian, who was panicking, as he blurted out, Admiral Johnson, please. This is not a battle, but a training exercise. Don't you go Admiral Johnson me. You are in deep shit trouble. Do you call this training exercise? There are ships on fire and several wounded men on both sides. We have picked up 487 of your men. who have been ejected into space due to their ship having holes blown through them. Then the human addressed Captain Blesson. And you should have known better. You guys have our number. You should have called the moment this got out of hand. God damn it, we'll leave you guys alone for a minute, and you are back at playing war. What are we going to do with you guys? Nobody spoke as the human ranted off. Lieutenant Sawtooth watched as the human treated both his captain and the admiral as small children who had started a playground fight. The screen showed several human ships that were flying around, grabbing ships and repairing them with incredible speed and efficiency. He turned his attention back to the human who was still ranting. You know what? I give up. You're both quarantined into your solar system for the next 10 years. Maybe that'll calm you down. Now go home and think about what you did. And God help me if we see a single warship leaving your solar system. I personally... you... With that, the human vanished from the screen, and the captain looked around the bridge and back at the screen as the Classian, who was still lingering. Okay, well, we'll be leaving now. I think we got off easy. 10 years will go by quickly. The captain nodded and took a deep breath.
Yes, we'll wait until our ships are repaired and then our men return.
There were a few beeps, and he looked at the console.
I guess we're done here. See you around.
Yeah, but not for another 10 years. Bye. There was an awkward silence as the admiral vanished and the captain sat down in his chair. Well, let's go home. The whole fleet turned around and jumped into hyperspace, but no word was spoken on the 10-hour flight home. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.